Let's talk to some guests about the ban list.
Hello, hello.
All right, we have Solemn the Vanguardo, the boy himself. All right, what's your first impressions of this ban list?
I think it's really, really good, but I know a lot of people are gonna be mad.
I think it's. What do you feel about the chaos hit? To me, that one's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm weirded out about it, but I also kind of get it, because we played with chaos with like the new stuff, and the deck was like really, really good. But we were like, oh, but it's still slow. But now that everything is slow, it becomes a very controlly meta. And if you then give them like endless soul and endless CB, I think a lot of people are gonna find it unenjoyable. So, it's not actually top tier. I think it's mostly an enjoyable part, because you're just gonna have the longest games ever against Lock. So if you want to bring new people in, that's the last thing you want. But I don't know, like that's my gamble, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess like it's just to not give them like close for days and like chaos kills and like marker steals for days. I think that's like the only logic I kind of get. And also like I guess that's kind of like JP influence a little bit, because that's like the one deck that has been topping in JP kind of consistently, I guess.
It's also with Jamio. I noticed on Japanese Twitter.
Yeah, they talk about Jamio a lot.
Yeah. So while like 80% of the list is probably because of the West, I think Zinc and Jamio might be Japan.
Yeah. Tempest Sphere was kind of odd to me as well. I don't really get that one. Or like I get it, but I don't know if it was worth it.
I think they're just trying to be very cautious. So
yeah, I think so too.
Oh, also because they didn't hit Calico.
Oh, that's true too, huh?
So if you wanted to stop OTT from one-shotting people on grade 2, you either hit Calico or that, and I guess that is like the more safe route.
Yeah, I guess so. That's like the only... Yeah, I guess that is an OTT hit. And I guess Zazan is kind of a Grand Blue hit, sort of.
It's a really big Grand Blue hit. When I tweeted out a few days ago, or like last week, like, if these hits happen the way I do, everything is gonna be so fair. It was inspired because I tried to play Grand Blue without Cezanne against Noman, and I started complaining about how fair
Grand Blue felt. Damn, that bad. That bad.
Like... I mean, it's still gonna be a good deck. Like, I'm convinced it'll still be viable and competitive and so forth. But like, without Cezanne, your turn 1 to 3 is just pass.
Okay.
Like,
goddamn.
You just pass and you do nothing, because you can't afford to call a field without getting like overrun by other people's grade 2 games, which are generally better. And also your Nitros on right starts sucking. Your Obadiah first stride starts sucking. You can't ride and do the Lily Cannoneer play because you're not at GB.
Okay.
So, like, you lose a bunch of stuff that's not obvious until you try it.
Alright, that's fair, that's fair. I wonder how it's gonna evolve then, because, I mean, Grand Blue still looked really good, kind of like Pale Moon, you know,
yeah, it's still gonna be
in the
good.
last meta.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like a lot of that was Colombard into Zazan, which they now lost.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. So, it's better than hitting Navigator or Colombard.
If they hit Colombard, you would just play the new Banshee and pre-shade the Zazan back to hand. And it would
yeah, true. Damn.
So Zazan was the only hit.
That's pretty heavy. How do you feel about Hellheart getting away unscratched?
I don't know. I don't think...
There's only like 3 like Hellheart players in the world, so it's okay.
I mean, no, there's 4, right? There's... Wait, is there?
There's Proof, there's Cyril.
Heart. Proof.
The Hearth.
I guess you're right. I guess there are 3.
No, there's more, but I mean, like... Oh yeah, Kyo, that's right. I guess there's a few Hellheart 8 players.
There's also, Axel... I suck with French names. There's a French player who loves spikes. He has like a spikes tattoo.
Yeah. Right.
So 4. I was right. There's 4.
Damn. But yeah, I guess like, I don't know, Hellheart is tough to play, so I think it's fine. And I'm surprised it didn't, like, because Proof found that one, like, Barrow Magnus, like, 50 attack combo that you can do with, like, the new grade 2. And that seems to be kind of, like, untouched, so wonder how that's gonna go.
I don't know, I think, like...
That card's not out in English yet, though, so I guess that's the big reason why.
Yeah, but it's also like if you reach Hellhard, whether it's 50 attacks or 20 doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're dying to it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with the Ultima Overtrigger, but I understand that they got rid of like the boogeyman.
I like how Gize can't play Overtriggers now.
They can, right? You only need 5 zeros.
Oh yeah, true. You just don't play Ultima. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Easy.
I already thought of it. I had to save my angel geese.
Yeah, damn. I actually I think for angels you still pick Ultima. Like you just don't care about the Overtrigger.
Yeah, if you play the
the loop. Well, not the loop. I mean the OTK build with Ultima.
Yeah, actually everything. Like you have the stand thing that you do. You
then
have
the crit build. Yeah.
So yeah, they would all play Ultima. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. What else didn't get killed? That's like feels important. Pale Moon got hit pretty hard.
They missed anything.
Yeah, I think they actually touched everything. Jamio going, I think is also nice. Like,
Yes.
Oh, Hoam, I guess.
But Hoam, like, what are you denying now?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You're just gonna sit there and like, I don't know. There's nothing to deny. I feel, but maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't go too ballistic on like the tier 2s because I was afraid they'd start hitting the tier 2s.
Yeah. That would have been really bad. If they started going like, oh, we're going to take away Pale Moon's best strides, we're going to take away Grand Blue's best strides, we're going to take away...
Kagir, like the cross or some shit, like...
Yeah, exactly. Like they or Itchy, like I saw.
Yeah.
They had to go like, I disagreed. I think overall they only got rid of ridiculous enablers and toxic loop type of stuff.
Yeah. The stand ruling is really well done. That one's tricky as hell. Like at one point I just gave up and I was like, you can't stand Valkyrian or Blade Master, and just called it there.
Yeah. Everyone had like their own version of this, but never nailed it, and I feel like they did.
They nailed it, yeah. I think they nailed it. So, yeah, no unbans happened, but I guess there's not that... Like, there's some stuff they definitely could unban at this point. You know, like the 7Cs package I think is pretty innocent now.
Yeah, but can you imagine you did like this ballistic nuke thing, and then the thing you unban ends up dominating the meta? Do you want to add risk on your play?
Yeah. I guess it's fine, because they're doing these every like 3-4 months now anyway, so it's like...
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be right after BRO, I guess, for the next one.
Yeah, right before, I hope, Springfest.
Yeah. It should be in between. That's good. Alright, nice. How are you feeling overall? Any words for people that want to play Premium now with the new ban list?
I'm gonna make a series on how to build Premium, like because I noticed a question on Vanguardians earlier. Someone's like, how do I build Premium? I don't know where to start. So I'm gonna like go over where to start. So,
but you kind of did that before, right? I guess back in V.
Yeah, I had that article thing, but I never made videos. I feel going over. Oh, grab your V deck and use these types of triggers, and slam in this and that. So I want to make a little series to go more in depth.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm hype. I just have no clue where to start testing.
I'm just gonna play the decks that I've always been playing, because I was always just playing tier 2 decks to begin with, and none of them got hit. So it's like, you know, my DP's fine. I can play Novas now, which is pretty sick. I can have fun with Vanquisher. Like that kind of stuff is like the most motivating, I think.
I wish I could relate. My entire closet got hit.
yeah, literally. Yeah, that's the other thing when people are like, oh yeah, you don't want your stuff to get hit. It's like, nah. The people that are making these ban lists own almost all of these decks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if anyone tries to go like, oh, you're just happy because of XYZ, I'm like, dude.
You want to see my... my
cards? Got hit of mine. Just like...
Yep. So, it's alright. Oh yeah, I guess how do you feel about them reprinting stuff that actually got banned? Because a lot of people, you know, that was a big commotion before.
My hot take is that SEA chose reprints and Japan chose the ban list, and there was no like link between them.
I think just the timeline was different. I think the reprints were chosen before like the bans were set in stone, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought like I think SEA made reprints maybe in June or July, like after Springfest.
May even, like I could imagine it being extra early. Because obviously it takes a while to get it printed and everything, so...
And then I assume they needed like the West results for these choices, and then BF, VL, or whatever.
Yeah.
So they probably finalized those like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'd
Something in
imagine.
that vein, so that's probably why that happened.
I'd
But
imagine,
overall,
yeah.
I feel like all those, like, you have so many good reprints in that set regardless that it's not really a big deal.
Exactly.
Especially because most packs weren't ruined. Like, if you bought a DI pack, you still
have so
your
much good
Cat,
stuff.
your Dimension Creepers, and all
Blader
of
Mouse.
Blader Mouse, your G-Guards, your everything.
Yeah.
The Pale Moon pack, you can still play either Trapezist or Periton. So I don't think it's a very big deal. I suppose the only actually bad thing...
Genesis pack is a little bit... Because
Yeah,
a lot of it was like... It was around Taro. All the reprints were around Taro.
Yes, though there were some weird Genesis decks I've been trying without Taro, so maybe that still works. The only thing that's maybe worse now is the Bermuda one, because both your top idol and your Traw
Are gone, yeah.
Like, are
But
up
the reprints in the Bermuda pack are so insane, I think it's fine. Like,
Yeah,
those were
you
two of 7 insane cards. Like, they actually got every single card being good, so...
Yes, that's
I think they're fine. Alright, sweet.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thanks for coming on. I'm gonna call some other folks as well. Gotta get the ban list Bao to give us his opinions. Call Kai if he's still awake as well, so... Thanks for hopping in.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
Laugh at Derek for me. Pale Moon.
Yeah, yeah. Haha, Pale Moon XD.
Yo, what's good, King?
What's up,
How you
man?
doing?
What's up? We got
Alright.
Redrick Rao. Pale... no more
And
Pale Moon
Sal.
Pal.
Sadric Sal.
Cedric Sao, yeah. Alright, one sec, let me get your webcam in here. If it loads.
See.
Do you have it open
Yeah,
in
yeah,
OBS?
Yes, give me a second.
Yeah, that's always the thing.
There we go.
Sweet. Alright, let's see.
Yo.
Alright, we got
We
the Peritonric Pow out here.
Peritonric Pal.
I gotta resize your camera a little bit. Oh my god. So yeah, how are you feeling as the big surprise victim question mark of the ban list?
Well, to be honest, with my whole ban list shenanigans that people had laughing emojis at, and they were like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen." At the back of my mind, I actually did think that would ban Periton and Trapezist.
You're right.
I had the discussion with like my group mates here in WA, and they were like, "Well, if everything gets banned, then they need to ban the next set of decks down."
Yeah, exactly. Which they did.
Because if they ban like the big six and Twa and stuff like that, Pale Moon would just go ballistic.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a hunch they'd do it. But to me, I think it's good that they're doing it, but it doesn't take away everything that Pale Moon has, which is good.
Yeah.
You still get Trapezist, which is infinitely the best card in Pale Moon.
Even better than Periton?
Yeah. No, not really. Because Periton can be replaced with Red Star Dualhorn, which is essentially the same thing.
Okay, take notes, chat. Take notes.
Yeah,
You're
take
getting
notes,
the
guys.
Pale Moon tech already. He's already thought 2
Take
steps
notes.
ahead. He's like, if I lose this shit, it's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How do you feel
And I'm
about...
surprised also they
Yeah.
didn't attempt to greed on, which is
I think it's because we don't have it in English yet.
probably, yeah.
The Dantarian one, I think is like really important to hit, so I think that's fine.
Yep.
But the greed on one is like, I can see it going crazy, but I would be fine with that hit happening after like BRO, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. So I think like that. And also, what was it? There's something else that Maxime just mentioned too, that would happen potentially after set 3. So... Oh yeah, the spike's like big combo, I guess. But
Hellheart.
that's fine.
Hellheart 8.
Like Hellheart kills you
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so...
Yeah, and Kaliko as well. I'm surprised they didn't hit Kaliko.
Well, the logic
but then
that
again,
Maxime brought up was
yeah.
that like Tempest Sphere dying is kind of like the Kaliko hit.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
So
Then again, like that was one of the surprising things too. Like I
Tempest
knew
Sphere?
they'd ban Zazan, but I never thought they'd ban Tempest.
yeah, me too, because
So
it felt
that was
like
pretty
such an important like premium only order as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that like a lot of us say that you can deny Tempest, so it's not that much of a problem to deny.
Right.
Well, sorry, to ban. Sorry. And then they ended up banning it. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
for majority of it, I'm like really happy. And the fact that they banned Taro after how many years of that card existing.
And Gastil as well. I mean,
Yeah,
that one's also been around for a while.
Dodged 3 ban lists, and he finally got hit.
Yeah, like Taro at first was like, okay, you know, you need a PhD to run this deck. It's okay, we can let the big brains play it. But you know, as time went on, things got more and more degen. So,
absolutely.
How do you feel about stuff like
what
Zinc?
What they could have done was choice restrict Tanma, I think. But then again, I think it's for future proofing.
Right. Yeah. What do you feel about Zinc? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say the same thing as Solemn, where it becomes like a really control-heavy meta, and then giving Chaos resource to essentially do whatever it wants to do. That just makes it really unfun. So taking away their only source of utility, I think that was pretty needed so that it kind of keeps in the space. Right. And I think it's also the JP influence.
Yeah, I think
Chaos is kind of like the only deck over there.
And Jamio, they make a lot of noise about Jamio. So I think that makes sense.
Jamio was just a poorly designed card.
Like a lot of people wanted Jamio gone for a while, so now like people can actually find their Renes, because they also reprinted Rene, right? So technically,
yeah, they did.
A card that's been kind of dead in the ban list for a while is sort of back now and reprinted. So that's kind of a nice little twist.
With Daihozan too, right?
Yeah, you can use it with Daihozan, so it's pretty sick. Yeah, I think there's just you're gonna replace Jamio with Daihozan, and like now you don't have like that weird like the tri-bash thing with Jamio as well. So
yeah, true. Yeah, and then your opponent can actually play the game and actually God.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Yeah. So what do you feel for people wanting to play premium now going forward with the new ban list?
So those people who say that they wasted money on revival selection, that is not true at all.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you have like 1 or 2 cards like Pale Moon. If you bought a Pale Moon set, yeah, you lose like 1 of the 2, but you can play 1 or the other, so it's not gone.
Yeah.
Like Bermuda, yeah, you lose your Twa, but the most important cards you get from it is like Citron and Tiror, the Stride. Those 2 are insane. Those cards that you get, sure, you get 1 ban or whatever, but the other cards are your engine for your deck. Like Genesis, sure, Taro you lose, but then you get like your Greats, your Oranges, your Gelges for Fenrir. So if you pick up a V deck and you just chuck those in, you can play. Yep, so it's really helpful for people coming into premium, and I think it's the best time to get into premium because now we don't actually know what the best deck is. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting too. This is probably going to be like the most fun discovery period for quite some time.
Man, it's going to be fun.
Because we can basically like play our tier 2 decks assuming that they're going to be good, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going into Springfest that just came by, everyone kind of knew what decks to play, but now no one knows.
Yeah,
it's like a reset. It's like rebooting the whole game essentially, but not really.
The format at least.
It's like pick and choose.
It's like one of those like nuclear Konami ban lists, but everyone is actually happy.
Yeah, Chushilla, right? Chushilla, but everyone's actually happy.
Yeah, essentially. Nah,
this is mad. I love it. It's going to be great. Premium's going to be great. And yeah, just building decks is going to be amazing again.
Yeah. Plus we get Heal Guardians in like 2 months, or like a month and a half.
Yep.
So that's going to add even more to it. So feels good, man.
Super keen.
Feels good, man. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Derek. I know super late over there.
No worries.
I appreciate you for coming through. But yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, Pale Moon looks like it's still gonna live. Still gonna live.
Yes.
All right, take care, man. Thanks for coming on. Ciao, ciao.
Oh, ma, what's good, my brother?
Can you put your camera on, or is it too early there?
I can put my camera on, sure.
Let's go. We get that beautiful Dubai circulation IRL. All right, hold up. Keep going.
Nice, okay. Wait, let me just enter the stream like this.
You're already in.
All right, yo,
man.
Dude.
How we feeling?
First things first. This hit is so good. All of these were so good.
Yeah, honestly.
From what I've seen, like they hit all the problematic stuff that like we discovered, like over here in the West. And it looks like they also hit the stuff that the Japanese players found as well, like mostly Tanba and mostly Jamyo. Because from what I know,
and also Chaos.
In the West,
Chaos is like really big in Japan.
Chaos as well, apparently, yeah. Like from what I heard, like we mostly do the Nue Dio Hyuga degenerate stuff, and they do the Tanba Metamorphox and what was it, like the hidden scroll weapon thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good to see all of those hit. what I saw a lot was a lot of game philosophy hits, and I think that was what I was most excited about.
Right.
Like you see, they hit a lot of like the superior ride, superior stride stuff.
Yeah,
gone. Nue Dio's gone. Bendy's nuts are gone.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go, dude. Now, I think the main thing was they wanted to make Premium become a place where both players can play the game.
Yeah, or literally both. Yeah, that's the best way to put it, actually.
Yeah.
Both players can actually play this goddamn game now.
Yeah. Very happy about it. But I am sad to see Twa go, even though I know that she had to go. That's pretty much
Yeah, but Bermuda has so many other builds too, I feel like, that were overshadowed by
the ride skip, yeah.
So I think that for that reason, I think it's okay.
Now, mind you, that the ride skip still does exist in Riviera because Selena still hasn't gotten hit.
Yeah, true.
So you're still able to like get to grade 3 first, and if you go first, you're grade 3 when your opponent's grade 1, which means you get your first stride when your opponent's still grade 2.
Yeah.
So Riviera still might be the go-to play. We just don't get that double force mark regeneration off of Twa anymore.
Yeah, some people are also saying in chat, like, why did they ban Twa instead of Selena? So that's true. You can still do the jumpy jump, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I think it still kind of takes care of it, and especially like getting rid of, just getting rid of that grade 3. I think is probably the biggest problem child. I think.
Yeah, from my understanding at least, especially with like the new grade 3 heal guardians coming in, you can't really damage deny anyone anymore because it's with how like deep Premium gets into like deck drawing. You'll find that grade 3 heal guardian very easily, which means you can just damage charge yourself, you can slam the Twa down. It also introduces, with like the new Bermuda Triangle grade 3, the Refia raid.
Yeah.
If your opponent does not damage deny you, you Refia raid for 3 plus 3, then you Twa over and then stride as well.
Oh shit.
That's just degenerate.
That's
like
nasty.
I tested that on Cardfight. That's just degenerate. Like so Twa had to go, I think.
Okay, yeah, now that I know that, I'm extra glad she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's extra nasty. That's actually extra nasty, looking at Clan Collection. But
how are you thinking the future's going to shape up?
I mean, I think right now is going to be like a huge discovery period for at least like the next month or so. Especially because like we don't... I think like the results will be like the community events, basically. And everyone's going to be just bringing their kind of like homebrews and whatever they think got away with the least damage, so like spikes, I guess. Grand Blue lost Zazan, OTT losing Tempestsphere to, turn off Kaliko at least.
Yeah, at least turning off Kaliko.
I mean, as a DP main, I'm pretty fucking happy. Like, I was already pretty happy with DP, like, even in the last meta. But
I'm excited for DP. Like, DP has only been, like, winning. Like, especially with the introduction of grade 3 heal guardians.
Yep.
DP just becomes bulkier. DP is going to, like, make it deep into the game. And then you're just able to, like, do really large X gallop swings for game.
Yeah. DI feels high up there, Noto says. If Noto says that, I definitely believe it. Yeah, I think that's something with DI as well. Like, everyone was so focused on Gastil, but everyone forgets that, like, they still have NLK. They still have
NLK. So apparently one of the players, I think it was Rio, he found, like, if you guys remember, like, Baleful Repressor. There's a new card that came out in set 3, which basically says, put this into Soul and then choose a unit. It can be guarded by grade 1s and higher.
Yeah.
Baleful Repressors can be guarded by grade 0s and lower. So you made so DI still has an NLK, an Ichitomin itself right there as well. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
the DI mains already apparently all the DI mains already knew about it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few, like, yeah, it's not NLK loop, but it's still, like, NLK is still strong even without looping. And so I think it's gonna be, with Dust they can't guard at all. Well, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Like, I think they've taken care, like, all the big problems, but there's definitely gonna be a lot of interesting things discovered over the next month, I think, that will shape up the meta going into BRO.
Like, my vision on the meta going forward, it will probably still be a lot of either heavy advantage decks that take the forefront, or some kind of, like, ride skips. Like, I think Selena will keep Riviera meta prevalent. I think Ezel's gonna jump up again because they have their own ride skip to hit grade 3 early.
Yeah, although it's really piece reliant, so it feels a little
it is
bit.
piece reliant. Grand Blue also has that weird Samurai Spirit, Samurai XC to get to grade 3 first as well.
Yeah, yeah. There's a Tachi, the random Tachikaze, like grade 3, I think, that can also like ride up or some shit.
Yeah. Like I imagine most people will be testing those out early, but I think one of the cooler ones is actually the decks that go first and then still manage to deny stride. Like I'm looking at stuff like right now for Aquaforce Tavis, you Soul Blast your grade 3 Tavis, so you ride back down to a grade 2, deny the stride. Nova Grapplers, you can get like a bunch of advantage off of the new Riser cards.
Oh, true, yeah.
Go Soul Blast to grade 3, ride down back to a 2.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, Reindeer can do it too, right? Highlander?
Ranger Highlander can do it too. Basically, yeah, you ride back down to your grade 2 to prevent your opponent from striding, which then lets you have the first stride as well.
Yeah,
next turn, like if you found another grade 3, you just ride into it. Let's go.
Great Nature, I think, also, like, it's kind of slept on. There's a chance for that, too. So, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. I think there's a lot of design space to look at there as well when you're building a deck. I'm just very excited to see, like, the future of Premium right now. Until someone else finds something degenerate, then we need to get that shot ASAP.
But at least now, from the looks of it, they will be pretty, like, on the ball with looking at the restrictions. So I think when we see like big results, like they really emphasize the West's resultant data going into this
I was very happy to hear about that.
God bless ModiP. God bless. Actually,
because that means oh shit, that means hopefully they look into the Western results for V Premium, look into the Western results for Standard.
Yeah.
It just like I said in the tweet, it just sets a good precedence for the game in general going forward.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they keep things under control, but most importantly, just like hype to see how they're gonna, like how the meta's gonna shape up this next. I mean, just going into BRO, because now it's going to be, I think, it's going to be like this experimentative period, and then I feel like the month before BRO is probably going to be like super quiet, and everyone starts like hiding tech, and like, you know,
hiding tech, and then BRO comes out,
like,
and
explodes, like all the crazy ideas suddenly come out.
All the crazy, boom.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty hype.
I'm excited to like just like bring out all of my decks from like the safe, just like try them out, see how they run.
Yeah.
I want to try that Jank Thing Saver Legion build.
Oh yeah.
Or like all that like force marker abuse.
I can play Premium Jewel Knights with Crystal Luster.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm just very excited for the current future, just because they hit the big six. They also tapped like the tier, like the next set under with like PM getting hit, Qual getting hit. Yeah, and
Chaos
same thing with
to me is also like
Chaos was like Solemn said, like Derek said. If the game format does end up going slower decks get stronger, and like even if you manage to like survive past Chaos's initial like big control turns, and then you grind them out of their resources, if they just zinc and then they go again, it just feels bad.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of the things, like they wanted Premium to be able to have both players play the game. So I think hurting Chaos that way is good. Also, within like the context of Tempestree and Zarzan, they probably just hit those because game philosophy-wise as well, right? GB effects are like strong effects that happen like after you've strode.
Yeah, exactly.
And being able to do that on grade 1, like getting these like really strong effects on grade 1, probably does not match the game design philosophy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's definitely like. I feel like throughout the V series, they kind of like dropped the ball a bit on Premium, and now with like Overdress coming in and them kind of like really emphasizing that they want to like support all three formats, we're really kind of like seeing that they do care about it, and they're trying to, you know, not just keep the ball rolling with, you know, Standard and V, but also like with Premium that isn't necessarily super popular in Japan compared to the other formats.
Exactly, and I think with something this big, it's bound to get people talking about Premium, which then in conjunction will lead to more people playing Premium.
Yep, for sure. Man, it's good. Yeah, somehow all Vanguard needed was to create a third format, and here we are. Suddenly things are now rocking properly. But yeah, how do you feel about the future? Anything you want to say for the Premium players, or like people interested in Premium going forward?
Oh, for people interested in Premium, this is the best time to get into premium.
Especially with Revival.
Especially with Revival, especially with this big hit list, you don't have to be afraid of like getting blown out from the game anymore. Bring out your decks, bring out your jank, bring out your table 500 stuff, and just play it.
Honestly,
because that's how we're gonna like discover the new things. That's how we're gonna like build up the new meta.
Yep.
And I guess the last thing we can talk about before I head off is like the stand trigger changes.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't really talk about that. I guess with Maxime we said it's like that's the best. They nailed it with like how they treated that, because like I just got frustrated trying to like write a ruling for it, and I just said you can't stand the Vision Token or Blade or Valkyrion. But I think they nailed it, saying that like, you know, they can still drive check, and you finish that drive check, but you can't like, you know, stand them by the thingy, right?
Yeah.
Well, like if you stand them, you can't drive check with them.
You can't drive check with them anymore. So the way I took it is like you could still do the multiple drive checks, but you can only stand once. With
like you can still play those decks, but all you can do is like stand that thing once.
Yeah, you get like well, you can get like maximum 3 attacks on the token of the Valkyrion, since you're. But
only
to do,
one of them will have the drive check.
Only one of them will have the drive check, but then
as it was intended, right?
Well.
As it was intended.
Yeah.
Because that's intended. Like, those decks were designed to do that in the first place, and it's the stands that made it go infinite, right? So basically you can still attack with Valkyrion first, or attack with Blademaster Vision Token first to like get the restand. So I think it's pretty cute. So, I think they like literally nailed it.
So yeah, I like that they made it a bit more offensive rather than
just kill the
other
deck.
way around. Because you'll still be able to like swim with the token. Let's say you get the 2 drive checks, get a stand trigger, stand it, attack again, no drive checks. But then you can attack with your Vanguard. If you do get another stand trigger, it's another attack on this token, which then presents that as like a valid offensive option to the deck, rather than just saying you only have like 1 extra attack on that token, period.
Yeah. That's true.
So
that's true.
I'm more happy with the way they took it rather than the way I interpreted it to take.
Same. I think they really nailed it.
No complaints on my part there. Yeah,
same. All right, good shit. Thank you, man, for coming in all of a sudden. It's a good time overall for the community.
Hop on.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes, make sure you check out ItsTokuTV as well. My man streams all the time. We had a good karaoke stream the other day.
All right, man. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a good one, everyone.
Take it easy, boss.
Yo,
my man just hot off the press, making videos.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys know there's like a DI combo with Baleful Repressor and the new
Yeah, we just talked about it. It's okay. We don't need to know about it. Can you turn on your webcam just so I can have you on?
Oh yeah, true. Hang on, my bad.
We talked Kai the other day. Alright. That's not ItsTokuTV. That's WCC Kai. Alright, how you doing, buddy? How we feeling?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, normally with these things, I'm ready to be underwhelmed, right? But when I heard 11 cards getting banned, I was like, oh!
Yeah, same.
Let's go.
Yep. Oh my god. How are you feeling about like how ballistic they went? Like also with like Tempestsphere, Zinc, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, just go hard, man. Just go hard. Can we swear? Can we swear?
Yeah, I mean, it's my stream. It's my stream, bro. Come on. Oh my god.
Just like fuck those cards, man. Who cares?
Talk to these people. Talk to these people. Oh my god.
Yeah, like, honestly, it's good, right? Like Zinc is like, oh, that's sad. I mean, I feel sad, but I'm sure Derek feels sadder.
Yeah. Fucking Gusty, fucking DuoDao.
That's right. I mean, look, if I'm gonna make this amazing format, and I want people to play it, the one thing I wouldn't want people to do is come and build a deck for X dollars and then watch all their cards flip face down and they can't play the game and they quit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That is one thing I wouldn't want to do. But also, like, to be a bit more serious, right? If the format gets slower, Chaos gets stronger.
Yeah, right.
Chaos gets stronger. It's already quite strong now, right? Yeah. Funnily enough, if you played Chaos with Freeze Ray, of course,
you could probably randomly beat all the big 6 decks at some point. Maybe one deck would beat you. But
yeah, or like an average user of those decks as well.
Yeah, but like
maybe not NuaDao.
Yeah, maybe not Nuadai. Oh, maybe NuaDao. Actually, NuaDao is fine. NuaDao is fine.
Okay.
Because you just ride freeze rate. It's all about freeze rate. If you secure ride into a freeze rate, you win, right? Even Derek can't deal with that. But if you think about it that way, right? Yeah, Cedric Sal. Yeah, but if you think about it that way, against a large majority of premium decks, there's some that literally you can't beat, right?
Yeah.
But against a large majority, you still have an okay matchup. As long as you have double-digit IQ, you should be able to beat them.
Right.
And they'll probably need at least quad digit to beat you. And sometimes they can't, because that's how Chaos works. So I think overall, for the health of the format and for the health of new players coming into the format, I think it's good.
Yeah, I agree for sure. How do you feel about them killing reprinted cards? That's kind of been the hot topic, I guess.
Oh, well, bad luck.
Yeah, I think it's just like they chose the reprints way before the ban list was actually like solidified, and they just sucks. But the packs are still amazing, right? Even if like 1 or 2 cards got banned in a pack of a clan pack, like you still got insane strides or G guards or like stand triggers reprinted that you needed. So
yeah, I think like here's the thing, right? Is if you single them, you're like, dang man, I lost $2.
Yeah,
bad,
I mean, I lost like $10 on buying Zinks the other week, but I mean, it's okay.
Oh, you only lost 10. It was like Zink was like at $20 at some point. So.
Yeah, I got it for 3 euros each, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah, no, but also like let's think about the other value, right? It's like, oh man, if I wanted to play Ezreus in my deck, I still can play it. It's still lots of value, right? The value in a lot of the revival selection stuff is still quite there, and I think a lot of people going into buying revival selection is gonna kind of understand, right? They're going, I'm pretty sure Tyra's gonna get hit or Castile's gonna get hit, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. Let's be real, right? Like if I don't buy it and it doesn't get hit, I'm gonna feel bad. But then if it gets hit, like okay, right? I knew it was happening. So I feel like there's still quite a lot of value there. Especially like freeze rate is still good. Some people saying Chaos is dead. It's definitely not dead, right? It's not dead. It's still playable. Still a lot of ways to do it. I think the biggest losers here are the people who actually just bought Tempest Spheres.
Yeah, they were pretty expensive too. They were pretty expensive.
Yeah. So those are the real losers. The real losers are the one that bought Tempest Sphere. And like I know some people have been saying, why does Tempest Sphere need to get hit? And I think they're just kind of resetting 2020. The basic, like the saying 2020 was a pretty bad year. Let's just axe it, right? Excise it from the system, and bring the speed back to 2019, which is I guess it's not a great idea because 2019 had Castile. And let's go back another year, right? So 2019.
All right, now we're back in 2015. G just came out.
Yeah. So I think they're kind of like making a stand, right? They're making a stand on you're not gonna unlock your G zone easy anymore, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to get through it. That's revert the G zone to 8 cards. Yeah,
CB1 is like nothing anymore, guys. Because we have Heal Guardians now, so it's like a new kind of thing they have to account for. So no easy access to the G zone, so you have to actually work for it. And sometimes working for it means you have to run the I think like the Barragan ride line or something like that to get. That's not very good now.
What is this? The Bogan ride line? What?
The Bogan ride line. So they have to run that vanilla ride line, ride chain, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's superior rides. That's pretty cool. But you don't get like the infinite value now. Where you're like, my deck is all familiar or vanilla. I mean, well, it could be familiar, but my whole deck's vanilla, and I have Tempest Spheres just give me infinite value. And then I can open up a Heal Guardian, get heal triggers and things. Well, if you want Heal Guardians, I guess it's technically a nerf to Tempest Sphere. But we're going even further. Right? We're just getting rid of it. So, so I think that the cutting that down, the resetting that speed, and I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So
I agree. I think that's a big thing, like on a game design perspective, as Tony said earlier. It's just that like they basically looked at like, you should not be using your GB1 effect on turn 1 or turn 2, That's not what we intended these cards to do. So I think that is definitely the right call to do it like that. So I'm curious though, man. We're gonna have BRO and it's gonna be just like the wild, wild west. I think like this next month is probably gonna be just like a crazy testing period for everyone, and then I can see November or like December, like whenever like the month before BRO, just going like quiet. Everyone just like stops talking, stops sharing tech, and like like always before Springfest or like BCS, everyone would stop talking and like hide their techs and secrets until the actual BCS would happen, right?
Yeah,
I could see that happening,
premium, especially in premium, and like it's so open right now, right? Anything, a lot of things can be good, and no one knows. And we kind of know what premium is gonna, what cards will be available for BRO, right? So, there's gonna be so much testing. But the good thing is, people are now excited to test, right? People are happy.
Exactly, yeah.
You don't have to be like drunk to be able to play premium anymore. So, that's definitely a net positive. That's a huge net positive.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Oh my god, yeah, that's quite literally emphasis on being drunk to play premium.
yes, that's right.
Oh
now you have to be serious. It's serious face only, right? Serious face only now. So
that's right. I'm excited. I can play DP in premium and not feel like I'm playing a tier 2 deck anymore. Feels great.
That's right. It could even be T1. You know?
Honestly, I was already tanking so many things in that meta. You know, maybe it's time to just be the ultimate tank with heal guardians.
just get in there. You know, it's what a tank should do. Get in there, and
just blow everything
honestly, blow everything up.
I have the meta now.
Yeah, it's a good list. Man. It's a good list. I don't think there's anyone who says it's a bad list was either simply really hard for Luard or Chaos.
Yeah, I can imagine like some people being upset because they, like had all the cards, or like that was like their only premium deck or something, because they only somebody that's like uber competitive that can only afford one deck, they probably own Uedio, right? Or like, they probably own Blade Master. And so for them, obviously it does suck, but it's a chance. You can still play Blade Master. It's just that it will only do what it's intended to do and only attack with drive checks once and not more than that. So you can play crits again. You can play strike crits. You can play soul crits. You can play heal guardians in Blade Master. Isn't that crazy? What a great timeline.
When you think about it, Valkyrian, like literally just, you don't get to infinitely stand on Valkyrian, but you're literally playing like V Valkyrian now, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just playing your V deck, which is still super cracked anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you Chaos guys. You can run the prison, right? The problem with prison Chaos is you don't have soul. I mean, counter charge is kind of annoying, but look, prison soul charge is 3.
That's right, play Bubble Mine, easy.
Yeah, Bubble Mine, dude. Give them all a try. It looks really fun. I was actually planning on building that, but I could just play. Yeah, I could just play. I don't know, Big 6 anyway.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So,
oh man.
And Jamio got hit as well. Get that.
Yeah.
There,
I think Jamio wasn't as much of a focus on the west side, but I'm glad that Japan was loud enough about that it got hit, because I think that was definitely Zinc and Jamio I think were the JP hits from what I felt.
I think Zinc was like a future proofing hit, to be fair.
That too.
A lot like you got like the Periton kind of a future proof. Like Pale Moon seems pretty good. Let's just nerf that a bit.
Yeah.
And then Grand Blue. I'm pretty sure Solemn did talk about Grand Blue. And
Zazan is literally the Grand Blue hit.
Yeah. Zazan is also technically a Hellheart 8 kind of hit as well. If you're running Hellheart 8 with Tempest Spheres, it's kind of a hit as well. But some people really weren't. So it depends on your builds. But yeah, Hellheart 8 seems okay, but I feel like it can still get wrecked pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just because some decks are definitely going to be able to overpower it very simply. So
before they get to that point.
Yeah. So overall, it's a wild west, right? I think you said that.
I'm excited.
Wasn't a great movie, but it's a great state of mind. Great state of the format.
That's for sure. We'll make a great comeback now. Man, that's good shit. But it looks like literally everyone we've called so far. Oh my god, somebody's chat saying like premium is so safe now, but what do I buy? Someone please tell me, is Gear Chronicle premium good? It is. Gear Chronicle is good in premium, especially now. I mean, why not? You can even play Time Leap, force marker it up. And just go. Well, I guess you need to get Melums, which aren't super cheap. So.
Someone asked if 30 draw Aquaforce will be good. Yeah, dude, it'll probably be pretty good, honestly.
That's right.
30 draw Aquaforce. what could go wrong? What could go wrong? You know,
exactly.
It's, draw out your deck and just kill him. Right?
Yeah.
Easy game, guys. Easy game.
Easy game. That's right. That's right. Oh man. But yeah, I think it's a great day for everyone. Overall, a great hit. And again, thank you, Modi P. God bless. Hearing him say specifically that, like, Dr. last week and him this week talking about that, a lot of these builds come from the West. That's the kind of acknowledgement we've been wanting for the last 10 years. And finally getting it definitely feels very good. So that's like a cherry on top of a good ban list, is getting,
that's right.
West acknowledgements.
As long as we get that, like, to be honest, even if we had like a average ban list, but they were like, look, we're looking at all the situation, looking at all the feedback from everyone. At least it's like technically it's still a good plus. The fact that we actually got a good ban list as well is just kind of like the cherry on top, right? Just the cherry on top, and then it just sounds like they're more onto the more onto. I mean, like they errated that card, the Nectar card.
Nectar Sensation
really
Ultimate,
yeah. Like they were talking about on Twitter for like 2 days. Like, hey, dude, Nectar seems like it could give you 3 crits if like you read it this way. And they're like, nah, man, you can't, because we're gonna rat her like right now.
Literally like 2 days after the tweet. 2 days after the tweet happened.
Yeah, so I think like if anyone finds like a crazy infinite loop or anything like that, I wouldn't be surprised if they hit it before like the ban list, the official ban list day comes up. They just yeet it immediately and go, yeah, nah. It's not happening for the rest of the format, man. Yeah,
they've been very on the ball now, and I think they know that they kind of have to be, but that's really good. It's a good time. Happy times. All right, man. I don't want to keep you much longer. I appreciate you coming through right after recording.
Yeah, and it's a good segue because like if Living Proof comes on next, then like I've been technically half trash talking Spike Brothers, so now he can come on.
I have a Link Joker expert first, and then I'll have Proof on after that.
So it's been good. It's been good. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Thanks, man. We'll see you around as usual. We got G on Friday. Let's go. Get suited up.
Yeah. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah, looks like people are impatient for your video as well. So
I'm making 2. I'll make one today, and then I'll make a more serious one tomorrow. So
yeah, I got like reactions today. I think I'll make this just like talking to like players and content creators into another one, and then I got like all the Zero news as well. Oh man.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's like the best news for like in a while, right?
Yeah, both this and last week Tuesday were very heavy. Although this one's like a happy. Everyone's rejoicing, dancing, singing.
We great faces today, man. We got some nice,
good pog chaps, good soy faces.
Nakashima face is really good as well.
Right? Oh yeah, true. Very good.
Yeah. Perfect. I should set that as my background. It's insane.
Honestly, same. Especially the Zorga one. Very good.
Yes.
What is she did great. Oh my god. All right, man. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it.
All right.
Get some good rest. Yeah. Take care, man.
Yeah, man.
We got the boy. We got Mr. Zystral out here. Let's go. How are you feeling, man?
Pretty excited. There's... when it first came, like, minute 0, I was like, And then I sat and thought about it for a bit more, and it's like, actually, yeah, this is kind of what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
Like, I was, I don't know how many people know. I assume not that many because, I don't know, people don't follow my personal life that much, but...
Well, I think the chat's popping off at seeing you on stream.
But, like, just to segue a little, not segue, like, to monologue a little bit, like, a few months ago, I'd been falling out of love with Vanguard. I had all the personal issues. There were things about the game that made me like think to myself, man, I don't know if I want to keep playing Vanguard. Like, this might be it for me. And things happened. We went into a dark times. You know personally, like, it was pretty dire for a moment. And then over the last few weeks, I've slowly been like, okay, maybe it's time to like put the shirt back on. Maybe it's time to like dust off the despair and come back. But there was still that trepidation, right? There was still that like, I don't know, I still have these memories. And then about a month ago, I heard premium ban list. I was like, this might be the spark I'm looking for. And yeah, so over the last few weeks, it's been like, come on. And yeah, now that it's come, I'm like, okay, I think this is it. We're good to go. All lights green.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's like the ban list was, I think, as nuclear as everyone wanted it to be, plus alpha, essentially. So I think it's overall a good time. So how do you feel? I mean, we've already talked about like the main hits with everyone else, but how do you feel about the Zinc one in particular? I guess since you're the local Chaos expert.
So I'm a bit annoyed. Obviously, like Zinc is one of the most important cards in the deck. You know, the deck consumes resources like no tomorrow, especially if you're going for like a traditional route involving like Meleptin, etc., etc. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be hard to play around. There are other CC options and S Soul Charge options, but they're just nowhere near as good. So I think Chaos in the traditional sense doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
I think the deck needs to be reevaluated from the ground up. Like,
we play Prison now.
Honestly, maybe maybe like. Oh no, maybe you just do like back in 2017, the deck was just basically do nothing, wait, GBA, and then alt wall your opponent to death.
I remember that.
We might be back on that line again. I don't know. It's just a case of trying to see like, because the one thing to consider is that sure, the deck doesn't have any resources to play around, but it also doesn't need that many anymore because you don't have I need to deal with X, Y, and Z. Now it's just okay. I need to deal with some of X, some of Y, and some of Z. Like the format as a whole has slowed down a bit. And, the explosive unfair stuff doesn't exist anymore. So the question is now like, how do now that everyone's playing fair, you only need to be a little bit unfair to win. And that's the question is, how do I do that? So that's what we're figuring out. Like,
which is kind of like how G was as well, right?
Yeah, like, the thing with G is that you could kind of expect what everyone else is doing, but here it's
going to be a wild west.
Yeah, there's so much more now because it's like, back in G, even back in V, there was like, you had like tier 1, which was 3 or 4 decks, and then you had tier 2, which is like 5 or 6 decks.
Yeah.
And that was still less than half of the game.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's like, everything, at least for the first few weeks, everything's going to be viable, barring like 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's getting through all of that, I think, is what's going to take like the most amount of time.
Yeah, and there's still, enough time before BRO for people to explore that kind of like explorative period, I guess. I think that's going to be the most fun part, to like watch people actually go about it. So yeah, I think that's going to be the most exciting part of it all. Someone asked for your thoughts on
into
Carbon
events
as
is
well.
the weirdest. The weirdest thing going into the events is that Premium's always been a game that's predicated on playing to the meta, playing around what your opponent has, like knowing, oh, my opponent's playing Riviere, therefore I need to play this way. My opponent's playing Murakumo, therefore I need to play this way. My opponent's playing DI, therefore I need to find these 1 or 2 specific cards.
Yeah.
Like there were chaos lists floating around without freeze ray because people just weren't playing Pale Moon in those metas. People were playing things like Spikes, which is you don't need freeze ray against Spikes because you should kill them by the time they get to Hellheart 8.
Yeah.
And, these adjustments are like how many numbers of Wham do you play? Do you play Honolly? Do you play Dismal, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
Like if there's no DI, you don't need Dismal, and so when there's no like events and there's no local meta and things have been shaken up this much, I think it's gonna be really hard like going forward, like what to plan around.
Yeah, I think also
there's always
playing in the big community events is gonna be important to at least get a feel for what the meta might even be, right? Yeah,
but even then, it's like to what extent do you play around Denial Griffin? To what extent do you play around Gear Chronicle?
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you at this point now, I think it's pretty much a case of I think this environment is where the really good players will really shine because they'll just put their best foot forward in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just whoever gets there. Like be it like Nova Grappler or Royal Paladin or whatever else.
Or just DI, DI still has some pretty interesting things going on. Yeah, so I think it's still, and like Grand Blue obviously loses that on.
And you still have the Balanera play, you still have the Megiddo play.
So much.
DI still has the the Maxine special from 2018. Yeah,
there's also like the grade 1 where like with Dust you can make your opponent not guard at all. So there's gonna be some interesting stuff, I think.
Yeah, and even in the future, like there's that Baramagnus Spikes combo that's starting to float around with the grade 1 from DPTO3, whose name I don't remember.
Oh yeah, there's the grade 2 that like returns the stuff from your soul back to deck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like there's like the format isn't like fixed. Everyone like go about your daily business. Like there's still a lot that like to look at. There's still a lot to work on. There's still a lot to figure out.
Yeah, there are random landmines that might pop whenever
Exactly, and I think that's the only like downside I can see from this, which is that, you know, people can be too busy like testing like, oh, how do you make shadows work? Like, you know, can we make Riviere still work? But they're going to miss like all these other things. Like, for example, Pale Moon Loop Songster, that went under the radar for pretty much all of Premium, despite being a problem ever since it came out.
Yeah, and now they shot it.
Yeah, so now it's finally gone. But, you know, it's like, or, you know, DI, like in Japan, no one ever played DI. So it took until now for Gasteel to like, this is a problem.
Actually get shot, yeah.
So, yeah, so that's my only concern, which is that, you know, like there's, now that we're in this like anything goes format, the question is like, are people gonna lose sight of like, hang on, this is actually a problem just because no one's played it or no one figured it out?
Yeah, exactly. That's true. All right, then I guess I've been asking this to everyone, but what do you say to the people that want to get into Premium now, or like, especially I see questions in chat now, people asking like, where do I find lists? How do I even get started? Like, how do I like explore niches and stuff like that? Or like, how do I know what's right for me and whatnot?
Yeah, it's really tough because, I mean, for any card game with a wide card pool, like going...
Of 10 years plus, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like, you know, same with like Magic when you get into Legacy. The best way, you know, as someone who's been playing Magic for ages and getting people to play Magic for ages, I'd say like, I'm going to give advice the same I give to people trying to get into Legacy, which is pick a random deck. Doesn't matter if you like it, doesn't matter if it works for you or not. Just like find any random deck that is like well established in the community. So at this point, you know, things like Post Nerf Grand Blue, Spikes, Time Leap, etc., etc.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna be posting like their deck lists and stuff over the coming week of like, you know, post nerf like DP, post nerf Victor or whatever. Just like I guess pick something like that, you know, and just kind of like.
Honestly, I wouldn't even look at those. I would look at pre-nerf stuff. Like obviously Gasteel is busted and like Zazan Grand Blue is busted, but you know, pick one of these old decks, just play it, get a feel for how it goes, you know, figure out like play it against a bunch of other decks, like, you know, play Grand Blue into Spikes, play Grand Blue into DI, get, you know, it's gonna suck for like the first several months. I'm gonna be brutal here. Like, you're gonna not enjoy losing to Gasteel over and over again. You're not going to enjoy losing to Valkyrian over and over again. You're not going to enjoy losing to Blade Master Loop.
Yeah.
But you have to do it. Like, you have to get out of the way. Like, everyone has to lose to these things at some point. That way, you know this is why it got banned, and you then know, okay, here's how this deck gets around. Here's how this deck adapts. Yeah. And then you adapt from that point on. Like, it's no point just picking up a post-restriction time leap list if you don't know how they got to that point. You need to play a pre-restriction time leap list, see like what decisions and what concessions were made, and then see like where you can go from there. And it's like I was telling someone this the other day, like, you have to understand the decisions that go into the deck building process, and you only do that by playing the game. And yeah, like,
exactly.
And like I said, the first several months are going to be hell, because you're going to lose the cards, be like, I didn't know this existed, or I didn't know he could do that. And you're going to lose games you quote-unquote don't deserve to lose. But they're games that you have to lose so that you can develop as a player.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
Yeah, my number one advice is stick with it. You know, it's going to suck. It gets better. And then once you've reached the point where you can figure out what you want to do, then you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's a good way to go about it. But overall, it's a good time. You know, if someone that was very much on the fence can talk about it with this much enthusiasm, I think that is definitely a good look for the general way things are. And I think also for us, like the more like legacy players, seeing, you know, ModiP, Dr. O, and like Bushman in general like acknowledge the West so like loud and proud is very, very positive. Like that is like super, you know, like
it's really
inspiring.
Good for the overall feeling of the community for sure, which I think is one of the most important things. Like, you know, one of the reasons Premium was on the decline for so long was because, you know, all we had for the longest time was Vision, and even the Vision like guys were like, you know, they were, you know, events weren't being run as often, they weren't being run to as high a standard, you know, the numbers were dwindling, because it just reached the point of like, you know, why would I play this when I can play like V, and, you know, like the games are like the same amount of, like the risks to reward factor is the same, but just way less investment. It's just like, okay, I don't have to learn as many cards, I don't have to like lose to a random crit as often. And so now it's more like, you know, we see that people are playing, you know, they see that people are playing Premium, you know, they know that it's not just like this one-dimensional thing that other people have like this preconceived notion of.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just the case, you know, once more and more people see like, okay, Premium, like you actually play the game now in Premium, as opposed to like, say, losing to random over trigger in D, or like, you know, getting hand-mailed out of the game in V. It's like, all of these edge cases will still exist. There's no getting around those.
Yeah.
But things like you can now play decks like Victor without having to worry about like
Blade Master just like eating you alive.
Exactly. Yeah. Like how do I get to turn 4? Like, or you can play things like back. It's like kind of like how in late G we had like this revival of old decks like Limit Break decks and Legion decks.
Yeah.
They just threw a few strides into it and it suddenly became viable again. I'm kind of hoping that's what we get with Premium going forward, where it's like, oh yeah, like who remembers like classic like old Gurgit with like the Quills and
the very first like wave of Gurgit,
right?
With like the counter charge grade 2 and everything.
Exactly. Or like who remembers Tachikaze before they just gauge, like back when it was still like Gaia Emperor and Devastate, like retiring synergy and stuff like that. I'm kind of hope like I don't expect all of these to become immediately viable or even like tier 2, but the fact that people like you can now think about these again without just being like kicked to the curb, I think is already healthy enough, and that's something that I think goes really unnoticed. Is that Magic does a really good job of this, because Magic has normal competitive Magic and then Commander, which is like the casual format.
And we've never really format.
Exactly, we've never really had that in Vanguard. There's always been you play Premium to win. You play V to win. You play Prism or Loire. You play D, you play like Bruce or Cats or whatever, because those are the decks that you play to win. Whereas in Premium, it's always been, everyone knows like, okay, Gasteel Loop is broken, Pale Moon Loop is broken, Genesis Loop is broken, and then sometimes people will just play Premium and play like worse decks like Bluish Flame or Overlord or whatever. And I think this now really it somehow shortens the gap, but also redefines it at the same time, because now it's like, oh, you like Nightmare Dolls is now the best build for Pale Moon because you can't have Trapezes anymore. So whereas before it was like you always had to compete with Harry, whereas now it's like I can sort of play anything, and I can still be part of like this quote-unquote casual social play group where you're just playing the cards you have, or you could maybe just like steal a win off a tournament somewhere because people just haven't figured out what the new Nightmare Dolls does. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, exactly.
So I think is like
it's a great period.
Hopefully, more people will play Premium as a result of that, and not just in like BRO or like online events. Like
just in general, play the format.
Like Premium is just a thing, not a fad. As long as that like gets maintained, I think any problems that come up in the future can be addressed just as easily.
Yep, I agree. Yeah,
like in terms of people looking to like buy stuff, I'd say this might not be the advice you want to hear, but the best advice is if you're not sure, don't buy, because like buyouts notwithstanding, stuff's always going to be there. Like sure, you might have to pay like more for stuff later down the line once people realize it's good, but spending $40 on a playset of a $10 card you're not sure you're going to use now.
Test on CFA first.
Sitting on the $40 for like 2 or 3 months, I would rather wait the 2 or 3 months and just spend $60 to buy the playset of the card when it's reached $15. Like like, that $20 shouldn't make a difference in the long term, but what you're doing in those 2 months does. And again, like I said, in those 2 months, you're going to end up losing a lot of games. It's going to be like learning like what decks do what and what cards do and don't exist is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be difficult. But once you get in, you're like, okay, I have this deck, I need this card. Once you get that card and you see it all clicking together and you're like, okay, let me put this card in, okay, this is how it works, I knew it was going to do this, and then adapting, like going from that point on, that's the appeal of Premium. Like the fact that the game is it's so much more depth than V or D format. It's like it's kind of like diving, right? Like people go swimming, they hate swimming, and then they put on a scuba tank and they see the Great Barrier Reef. It's like, wow, this is so great. Like, once you get to that depth, it all makes sense.
I agree. That's a nice way to put it. That's a nice way to put it. All right, man. Thank you for jumping in. All of a sudden, it's good to also have you back. It's also nice to see everyone excited to see you back as well. So
appreciate everyone.
Hopefully we can see more of you as well.
I'm
gonna throw the oil on the fire real quick.
Gears are turning. I'll tell you that. Gears are turning.
That's good. Tony says you're the creamer to my coffee. You're the Shotaro to my Philip.
Oh my lord.
So yeah,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that comparison. Yep.
All right, man. Thank you for hopping on. I'll let you get back to work. Thanks for jumping in. Big appreciate. All right, take care, man.
Bye bye, everyone.
Hey, we got the pillar of the Bruce / Spike Brothers community. We got the living proof himself. How you doing, man?
We're doing good. I'm chilling. A little bit of working, a little bit of work from home, daddying at the same time. So I'm taking a little bit of break to do this short little interview segment with you.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you for too long. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day as well.
No problem, no problem.
Oh man, so how are you feeling about the premium hits? I think for a lot of us older players, this is something they've been waiting for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I haven't touched premium in a long time because of all the big six is what they've been calling it, which I think is a really good term for it. But because of those, I haven't really been interested in it because since I only play Spikes and everything there kind of just melted off the face of Spikes, no matter what version you wanted to play, I really wasn't interested. But now that all those have gotten hit and the deck building seems to be more wide open now, I'm really excited to dip my toes back in it.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess that kind of also, you know, brings up the whole thing of like, how do you feel about Spikes not getting any hits? Because I know some people called for it. I personally think it's okay because like Hellheart is it's a tough deck to play. You know, it's kind of like performing surgery. Sometimes, you know, you got to be super careful as you play it out. And at the same time, it's like it still has clear weaknesses, right? Compared to some of these other decks that like just blew you up for breathing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hellheart is tough to play. Since it's a combo deck, you kind of have to understand what you need to save and what you need to toss for the sake of survival and trying to make sure you have enough resources to last until you can start doing your Hellheart stuff. Kind of like Bruce in that regard.
Yeah, it really is, right?
On a different plane.
Yeah.
And now with everything, like there's still ways to interact with Hellheart because it being a combo deck, you can still play the game beforehand and try to figure out how you're going to beat it before it actually start to pop off. So there's like that good back and forth going. It's a healthy back and forth. And
yeah, exactly.
There's still ways to handle it with like
we have a guest appearance. The baby proof.
And there's still interactions that you can do with like the Now Griffin, or you can play Freeze Ray if you're a Link Joker person. You have there's still Cannoneer if you're a Grand Blue player to interact with the combos. So it's up to the Hellheart player to figure out how they can navigate through this interaction to make sure they can still win the game.
Yeah,
so I think it's fun. I think it's still healthy.
Yeah, I would agree. Hey, we got the guest appearance. Yeah, Solemn was saying that the baby disagrees with Hellheart being okay.
Do you disagree? She's like, I see myself.
Oh, that's cute. But yeah, I think I definitely agree. I think like it's not really the deck that needed to be popped off the radar like that. You know.
Yeah.
He's saying the kid is celebrating premium bands as well. That's right. It's a celebration for everyone.
There you go. Hands up.
She's off the party.
She's gone.
Yeah, I think in general, like, Hellheart will stay around as a deck, but I think overall, like, they really, you know, we've talked about this with the others as well, like, it feels like they're bringing down the game speed to what it used to be. You know, like GB1 effects weren't designed to be used on turn 2 or turn 1, right? You know, they were designed for you to get to them eventually throughout the game. And I think with them, like, taking out, like, Tempest Sphere, taking out Zazan, we're kind of getting back to that kind of, like, intended game speed, I think, which I think is really good.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comments in your chat saying Hellheart gets slower with the Tempest Sphere hit. And that's true partially because the idea was to try to get a lot of things face up early. That way you could do the
GB8 earlier,
Yeah, you can do that, but on your first stride, if you have a lot of Tempest Sphere usage beforehand, you can go into
Agrius?
I believe his name is Violence Ace.
Oh, okay.
You go into Violence Ace and then draw a whole bunch of cards plus your triple drive to give you more access to cards in hand to try to survive your opponent's turn. And then from there you accelerate faster into the GB8.
Right.
Now you kind of go back to the old way of doing it, which is playing a lot of mecha trainers and which you probably used anyway. But now you're more at the speed of going into it with less cards in hand because you can go first stride Violence Ace into second stride Hellheart 8. You have to go first stride Agrius or something slower and then try to pop off with the 3 G guards like we used to do back in the day. It's it's slower, but it's more on a fair playing field. So I'm cool with the Tempest Sphere hit in that regard.
Yeah, I think it also makes sense because I think that also was like an additional layer to the deck that helped to increase its speed. So I'm definitely feeling it too. But yeah, I think overall it's a nice list, right?
Yeah, and since things slowed down a bit with all the hits to the upper tier stuff, that means aggro spikes and then maybe even good end dragger double break ride shenanigans could be back on the menu as well.
Yeah, and I've seen people playing Bruce Premium as well.
Oh yeah, that's
I think DerickDao was playing Bruce Premium quite a lot too.
I've yet to see that, so I'm intrigued to see what that's all about. I imagine you're gonna just go into a force gift like Ryzen to get the gift. Oh no, sorry, you sit on Bruce for a turn, activate Final Rush, ride into like Ryzen or something to get the force gift, and then pop off with Bruce stuff for a turn.
Yeah. That's true. So it'll be pretty interesting to see, you know, how it actually plays out. So
yeah,
cute.
I'm intrigued. She's trying to grab my microphone.
Yeah, she doesn't like me stealing attention from you.
I guess not.
Oh my god. That's so sweet. But yeah, thank you for coming on, man. Do you have anything to say for aspiring premium players or premium spikes players going forward now?
It's definitely the time to get into it. Like others have said, spikes historically have been cheap, so
especially now with the reprints, you can get jelly beans.
Yeah, exactly.
With triple rare foiling.
Jelly beans. You get jelly bean triple rare foiling. You get acrobats, which can help you find your jelly beans and stuff, and then definitely get the Rise of Nova stuff. Yeah, like if you're really interested in it, the stuff is relatively inexpensive for now. So
that's right.
If you've always had like a smattering of interest, definitely take a look into Spikes Premium. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun for combo players or whatever kind of player you are. Combo, aggro, super fast combo if you're trying to do the bad end dragger stuff. So it's good out there. The times are good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah, baby Proof be like, this interview's over.
You wanna wave?
Wave to the camera.
Can you wave?
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh,
yeah,
that's sweet.
Good job.
Oh, that's so sweet. We gotta get the wholesome energy in there as well. Oh good man. Job. I appreciate you coming on, man. I don't want to take up your guys' time too much more, but I really appreciate you coming through.
Fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Sometime.
Yep, absolutely. All right, take care, man. Thank you so much.
All right, later.
Ciao. We got the JJ out here. How are you feeling, man?
Elated.
Yep. I mean, it's honestly like so damn huge. Just like finally getting this ban list we've been waiting for, and also getting like, you know, the Western acknowledgement that we've been wanting for so long.
It felt like a let me copy homework real quick sort of moment, but just change out a couple of things.
Yep. Oh man,
crazy. How did your peeps take it? Like, how did everybody else?
I mean, I was kind of like too busy just being emotional to look too much at chat, but I think everyone was just kind of popping off, like just going crazy about the hits, because it's like it's something we've been waiting for so long. And there's also some hits that like at first I was like, oh wow, they're going the extra mile. You know, it was like Tempest Sphere, you know, it was stuff like the Zinc, the Jamio that I was like, okay, they're going the extra mile. So
I think the Potpourri one was the most surprising to me. For me,
I mean, that's like, a loop, so I was like, okay, that's probably gonna get a shot.
Fair, but it's surprising that they actually like saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something like Bendy that they saw, something like Trois they saw. They were like, yo, some of these are actually pretty good. So even if it might not be problematic now, they're gonna be problematic in the future. Yeah. So let's shoot these things at the moment.
Yeah.
And exactly. I was like, whoa, y'all saw this too? Okay.
Yeah, honestly, like I think especially stuff like Potpourri, like because there's so many decks that didn't get any tops or like did anything like relevant in the competitive sphere, but like for them to like really look into things and analyze, you know, what's going on in the community so well to know what the problems could be, and like, you know, once you get rid of one layer of problems, what the next layer of problems could be, you know, I think that is also like a good look for them to, you know, kind of like shave away those layers of problems in a way, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the only thing that we do have to look forward to, I guess, is the fact that, yo, I'm actually gonna live past turn 3.
Yeah, exactly. live past turn 3, get to turn 4, I can play Victor now and actually like do my combos. Oh my god.
I've been looking up cool hanks. I was like, they got reprinted, right?
Oh my god.
Oh god, I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
I can actually play clans I've not touched in months. The only deck that I've played that
years
felt like
at this
Victor,
point.
Yeah, years since like 2019, 2018.
Yeah,
I think.
I want to say like 1918. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually insane.
The only deck is maybe Silverthorn. That's all.
Oh
It's
yeah,
had that
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean for me as well, it's like, you know, I can still keep rocking with my current DP deck, and then like suddenly it's so much better because the things that killed me before I could set up my, you know, defensive buffs, you know, I don't have to worry about as much anymore. So goddamn, it feels so nice knowing that like all those decks will suddenly be more viable and actually, you know, like especially like now, you know, for us, since we're commentators, it's gonna be hyped to see like BRO evolve, like, because I'm pretty sure this first month is gonna be like, you know, experimental Wild West, and then everyone's gonna go quiet with like their like hidden tech, and it's all gonna just explode at BRO, right? Like that's what I want to see. I want to see like all the crazy sweaty strats that people come up with now with their like pocket picks, and especially teams like, you know, WCC and Strictly Broken and like all those kind of like groups that will probably like try to brew up something, you know, the best list possible and all bring it together. You know, it's like those kind of things that I'm also really looking forward to seeing like how it's gonna evolve in the future.
And talking about evolution as well, like talk about progression, you will also have some techs like Wham coming up as well for certain decks and archetypes. Because like one of the biggest thing, like Temposphere is no longer be a thing. So like damage denial could become still weird, you know, a strategy you can still impose on your opponent if you're like, well, I kinda don't care about you having GP, or you're not gonna do anything with his GP. Decks like Gear Chronicle that profited a whole lot of off of Tempospheres. Decks like your DP, for example, kind of could use Tempospheres to an extent sometimes.
Yeah.
Some builds ran 1 or 2 of it, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
And then you also have, what's the other archetype that used Tempospheres? About Calico, OTT.
Yeah, OTT I think is the biggest one for me. That feels like a direct, and also for like whatchamacallit. I mean, I guess like, god damn it, I'm blanking completely. Never mind. there's some other thing that is suffering super hard from losing Temposphere that I'm blanking
Blade
on
Master,
super hard.
you mean?
Sorry?
Blade Master? Or
I guess, but Blade Master now is going to change like conceptually, right? It's no longer going to have to play stands because you can only drive check with the damn vision token once. So you can play crits again, you can play heals. Wow, what a crazy timeline.
You might actually play Moobdi, so maybe some other grade 2s and stuff that oh yeah, Spikes, I think.
Yeah, true, Spikes. Yeah, Spikes.
I'm still scared.
Grand Blue losing Zazan is huge as well. So, oh yeah, and apparently I saw in chat you have a premium event this weekend.
Yes. This weekend we coordinated. We said like, yo, it's lit. we're going in. We're gonna
just
play
straight into the fire. Everyone, just take your homebrew and run. See who can run the fastest.
Exactly. Touch the goal, you get a prize. Let's go.
Yeah, that's good. I'm the opposite. I'm like letting people have like 3 weeks or so to just like experiment and then see what comes out of these 3 weeks of testing when we do our FRF for premium, which I think, you know, like for us, of the 3 formats that we've been doing for our tournaments, like premium's always been like, you know, V will get like 20 something, and then like, you know, standard will usually cap, and then premium will have like 12 players, you know. So I'm kind of looking forward to actually seeing, you know, more players in premium, because I think for a lot of people now it's like, especially after revival selection, it's going to be so much easier to just like build a deck and get in there.
And especially since revival selection being released just last weekend, 24th, we have access to a whole lot of cards we didn't even have access to even during the time of G-Era, like the promos that got released for Gear Chronicle, for example. And
or extinct cards like Purple Trapezist, you know, that right, like, oh my god. It's a good time. Cursed Eye Raven, the cat stand for DI, like, oh my god. Belial, oh my god, S-Ras. Ooh. God, it's really tempting to like build a Luar deck just because of the reprints.
Your boy has been holding on to Luar stuff for the past 3 months.
Oh my god, that's me with Chaos. I picked up everything for Chaos I would need, including Ziggs, including these fucking Ziggs, bro. What am I supposed to do with this garbage now? Oh my god.
Dude, they had to be sacrificed for the greater good. You saw a yellow card post. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just play Prison. Just play Prison in Chaos. It's fine.
Unironically, that actually doesn't sound too bad. You can yoink something from their hand and put it into the prison if you need to.
Or just for the soul. Just for the soul. You know? Play Bobo Mine. Easy. Oh, man. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I really wondered, like, I want to see, like, what kind of crazy stuff is gonna come out of these next few weeks, because it's gonna be very, very exciting just to see the evolution of the meta.
I think the biggest thing for me, out of all of this, is that I hope that the Eastern player base plays more premium. For me, that's...
They were already starting to, because for them, like, the meta was basically, like, Jamio and Chaos, right? So for them, like, those aren't as big problems as the ones that we were kind of going through. So it's already been going up. Like, you know, they had, like, BVFLs, which were running alongside a standard tournament that could have, like, 32 players, which, like, for Japan, that's pretty huge, right? And I think the biggest thing for Japan right now is just, like, card inaccessibility. Like, it's a lot of people on Twitter complain about, like, not being able to find, like, you know, V stuff. So for premium, it's even worse, you know, or, like, you know, Zeroths. They've never had a Zeroth reprint, right? Keep in mind, Revival Collection, the old Revival Collections were English exclusive. This Revival Selection is English exclusive. Like, I uploaded my, like, the Revival Selection, like, box opening, and I had Japanese people going, like, can we have this? Can we have this? Like, oh my god, this looks so cool. Can we have this? Like, and it would fix so much, right? It would fix so much.
Having the Eastern player base, JP player base saying, yo, we want these two, warms my heart a little bit.
Same. Absolutely.
Like, y'all want something we got? Yes. Now you know how we feel.
yeah. How we felt these last 10 years.
Exactly.
I think it's just like, that's the one hurdle they have to get over for the JP community, I think, and once they do, then that's going to be, you know, and they're planning to do it next year anyway, right? Like they said, they're planning a premium collection, but it's going to be a heavily reprint focus, which I think is, you know, the right move to make. You give us a new strike, give us a new G-Guard, maybe a new trigger or something, and then dedicate the rest of the slots to reprints, you know, like they do with Clan Collection.
I think I want the more defensive clans to get better G-Guards, because like stuff like Marukumo, Nubatama, like their G-Guards are kind of okay, but kind of not good. Royals, for example, also has no G-Guards really, since they're locked behind Blaster or Alt Mile, and then and then like Mega Colony also doesn't really have any G-Guards either. So like just like a lot of archetypes just don't really have G-Guards.
yeah. I definitely agree. I think it's about damn time. We haven't had a new G-Guard since 2018. Come on, Bushi. We can fix this. We can fix this. Yeah. A lot of clans, especially like with the like the power level in Vanguard rises all the time, right? And even though like the power level rises, the only defensive thing we've had is now Heal Guardians. Like G-Guards need to kind of catch up that too. Hell, just like errata old G-Guards to have 25k base shield at this point, you know, because back then you discarded a 10k shield to get a 15 plus effects. Now we discard 20s, so give us, you know, 25 plus effects.
Yeah.
Honestly,
like something of the like screw. The GB2 Krelemental G-Guard, Jesus. We used to run that unironically, actually, because
that was like one of the only, like, because you only had one G-Guard per clan, right? And then you basically just needed to fill it up with Dismals and that one and Seabreeze and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It took a while.
Could Grade 2 gaming become a thing again? I wonder.
Not
if
with
the meta is going to get slower.
Maybe, but I feel like it's still, like, you still are playing VRs, right? And VRs still have a huge power level. And, like, for me, like, as a DP player, I'm never afraid to just, like, ride up Dieliner and just, like, you know, hit with 3 crit because it's like, oh, you don't want to PG this? Well, you might just randomly die then, right?
True. So, but that's the power of Justice, though. That's something different. We'd always don't have Justice on our side.
Yeah, but, you know, other decks, you know, you can play, like, V plus Luard, you know, you can play Vanquisher, or, like, the Cross or whatever. Like, it's still, I think, because the power level of V is so high, I think that kind of does take away a lot of the Grade 2 gaming that we used to have, because, like, Grade 3s just didn't do much, or, like, Grade 3s didn't do much until you strode, right? Whereas that's not the case anymore, so...
Okay, fair. I can agree with that then. That does make a lot more sense.
But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'll definitely be tuning into your tournament as well. See what happens.
I mean, we'll see how that turns out, man. I'm excited. Hopefully this gets... Are you going to compile all the interviews you've done so far today?
Yeah, I'm making them into a video. Then, like, just gonna throw it up, like, maybe tomorrow or something.
I have like 5 to 6 videos to record today.
Yeah. I got like two videos to cut up from like the stream itself, and like this one, the zero, like literally 0 G's happening on Friday, so that's like gonna be massive too. So, oh my god, it's gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell.
Oh my god. Like, I can't wait to see what the other content creators think about this too as well, because we have Tyfyghtr, who's been a big proponent for premium. You have Solemn
My man's not
well.
responding. I'm trying to get him on here too, and he won't respond to me.
No, but it's like, how late is it right now? It's just like 11 o'clock for him right now, right?
Yeah, he might be at work, I guess.
Yeah.
So
and Solemn, I think he's also busy with his business right now, so I think
I got him at the start.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm assuming Ty has work, so it's understandable. Can't have everyone.
But
oh my god,
thank you for having me on, and I
of course
wish the rest of your interviews go good. And
yes.
I wish you guys at home also do well as well. So be awesome, stay awesome, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it. All right, there we go.
Apple in the chat.
So how are we feeling? I think it's also the first time we've like properly spoken by voice.
Yeah, it's always been like, you know, a tweet here, a tweet there, Cardfight con.
Yeah.
This is our official first time actually talking.
Yeah, but how are you feeling?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. You know, even though we technically speak other languages that we could be speaking.
True.
Oh man. But how are you feeling today? You know, the big ban list drop that I think, you know, everyone's just celebrating.
Really excited. So I've been holding off on premium since like BCFO because I'm like, well, we already know what the meta is like, so now what, you know? So I've been kind of taking a break, but now with everything being back, I'm like, okay, I can bring this back, I can bring that back, I can try this out. Like I've been experimenting with Grand Blue 7Cs, but that's kind of weird. And there's like some Pure Ride stuff, and then Bermuda Triangle. I recently got Prism like for premium, so I'm really excited to see what I can do with that. So like, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, honestly, like it really opens up a lot of opportunities for like not just, you know, seeing which of these decks survive, you know, how like DI could adapt, or like, you know, whether like NLK is enough to like bring that back up, but also just like trying out the craziest ideas. I think is what we've talked about with a lot of people, you know, whether it's like 30 draw Aqua Force, or, you know, like just like playing old decks like Gabriel or Victor again that like would get silenced by the meta decks in the past. I think it's going to be a good time overall.
I wonder, because I've been seeing like some people talk about Tachi. I wonder if like Tachi now can like kind of come back, because that deck draws like a ton as well. Like their hand size is huge.
I can definitely see it. I can definitely see it, because it's like it even showed up at Worlds, I think, right before COVID. So if, you know, if it was alive the meta before this, then, you know, maybe there's a bit of hope.
That's interesting. I actually had no idea about that, because like I missed out on all the world stuff. You know, COVID hit, and I was just kind of like, oh well, okay.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely going to be cool to see the kind of crazy stuff that might come up.
Are you excited for DP? I know you've been kind of talking about it throughout the interviews, but what do you think about DP now with everything?
I think it's going to be really good. Like I was already playing it, like basically whenever we have locals and some of the people from like other countries like from France and stuff come by and they bring their premium decks, like we run games against like random stuff like Luard or like Chaos and whatever, and it's like the deck's always felt fine and it's always felt like good enough to be able to survive, but it's just against the upper echelon of tier 1 that like you wouldn't even have time to like set up defensively at all to like establish, you know, the thing that's basically Dex win con, which is like make super tanky grade 3 so you can get to your X-Gallop and your Stark and then like, or like your GB8 and just kill them. So now that the format's kind of slowing down, that's definitely going to be a huge boost to the deck. So I'm excited. I mean, I've already had my lists set in stone for a while, so I'm just looking forward to seeing, you know, how much further I can take it at this point. So I'm really hyped. Yeah.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I'm glad to see that the solar decks are kind of coming back. I wonder if like Angel Feather would get representation of any kind. Like it would be nice to see those decks come back.
I can see, like we were talking with Solemn like a few weeks ago, how like there's so much good potential in Angels, because especially because Keter just has so many good cards as well. Like you kind of have like a pseudo denial Griffin thanks to Olden, but it's kind of like hard to set up, and like you know, there's all kinds of like weird stuff that Angels can do, but it's like super unexplored. So I think now that, you know, because of this kind of like almost format reset, I think those very explorative minds will also be motivated to like, you know, just go crazy, just go absolutely insane and like try to find that kind of like broken interactions and whatnot, right?
Yeah, that's true. I know someone that's like really big into building premium angels, and they're a little sad that the OT got hit with the Zeroth dragon because they had like this like setup where they had the what was it Vasato? The Vasato resist guy, and they had the overtrigger setup, so that way even if they could deny Griffin you, they just can't because of the Vasato, and then they would just hit overtrigger and then have the Vasato's drive check on your rears. So it's actually like insane to watch like how he played it all out. And now that got hit, so now he's like, what do I do?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's still gonna play the play Ultima because it's for angels. It's such an important tool because you have rescues and stands and everything that you can do. So I think it'll be interesting to see how things adapt. But how do you feel about like how they killed the biggest problem decks, but they also went the extra mile, with like Tempestsphere and with like Zinc and Jamio to an extent, I guess, and like Potpourri, like a deck that had no like tournament representation for the most part, but they managed to look into the community deep enough to see that this is like, oh, this is like doesn't align with our idea of what premium should be.
So personally, I was expecting these hits. I didn't really talk about the ban list too much because like I'm not like a long-term premium player. I only got to premium right before COVID hit. But honestly, the one thing I wanted to see hit was actually Tempestsphere and Zazan. Like I wanted those two just completely out. So seeing that those hit happens, I was like, yes. Yes, because now we can take that whole GB rush form out of the format and just go back to like just actually building decks without like having to focus on vanillas, have more deck space for more uniqueness. And on top of that, speaking on the BT Papuri stuff, I honestly think that needed to go. I think someone, it might have been Solemn, that mentioned that it's not like that crazy, but I don't know. Every time I playtested that, it was like you put a Papuri down, and then you swing, bounce, swing, bounce, swing, bounce, and there's no counterblast. No Soul Blast that requires this. Like at least Cho kind of requires some Soul Blasts that you have to do to restand her, all this stuff. This was just like, just free. You just get to your, like, you get to a point where you have enough force markers and you just spam it for hours and hours until your opponent wins the defense or just somehow pops it off. That isn't the resist version. So I honestly glad that's gone. The Tro was a little unexpected, but I also understand that because Tro is just extremely degenerate. In my opinion, I thought that combo, if you just get 1 or 2 counterblasts, that's it. You're just going crazy. On top of like what that's called, Hoic or Hoa, that card that lets you attack, that forces you to attack Vanguards no matter what. Yeah, that not being hit actually makes sense why they hit Tro then. So they wanted to keep that card since Heal Guardians exist anyway, and they're like, okay, well if Heal Guardians exist and this exists, then Tro's gotta go. So it kind of made sense. Overall, like I thought the ban list was what needed to happen. Like all the stuff that I expected to see, aside from the Zinc, because I'm not a Link Joker person, I expected to see. I was like, everything makes sense. It's surprising, but it makes sense. We're about to get a bunch of reverse units into a new V Premium format, so it's very possible that they're preparing for a future thing that could have been a problem in resources and everything. So I'm actually not like, I can understand why they did it. We're about to enter like lock error per se. So with that being said, with that error coming up, it's possible that there might have been something that would have really pushed the decks too far. So they're just like, let's just get this out and pretend it just doesn't exist.
I agree. I think that they definitely did a good job, and I think like you talked about with Tempestsphere, there's something that came up is also like, if like GB effects that were intended to be used later on in the game, and they weren't supposed to be, used on turn 2 or like used on first stride and things like that, that were clearly designed back then with like the late game tools in mind, I guess, and like things like Tempestsphere, just letting you abuse that as early as possible, I think is definitely the right call in it. Like Tony said earlier, it's like kind of like a game design perspective. They want to slow down the game back to what's kind of like intended for all these effects and like all these archetypes. So I think it's definitely the right move. It's a very cool way of them to patch it up, I would say.
Yeah. I'm happy about it. I didn't really like the vanilla stuff, to be honest with you. I wasn't like against it, but I was kind of like, like I gotta throw these vanillas in. I can't put creativity in my decks. I have to complete because no matter what, it's like a stronger booster, a stronger attacker. Like it just gained numbers. Like playing Grand Blue. I tried the Zazan stuff, but I didn't like it. So I actually, when I went to BCFO, I didn't play with it because I was just like, I just don't want to play with it. So I didn't. But it was so good. The rush was just so good. It just any deck just had all this potential to just make this like, oh, this is a 7K, now it's a 17K booster. And like a lot of clans didn't have those kind of boosters, and like the vanilla stuff said, yeah, here, just have these high attackers, just have a blast.
Yep. I agree. And I think also, like Echo said in chat, is like the clan, like I think the vanillas took away a lot of clan identity. When Zazan was first revealed, the biggest scare was like every deck will just become a different flavor of Zazan rather than being like 24 different clans.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the design
awful.
from the start. So I think this being gone, I think is the right call for like clan identity at the same time. You know, it wasn't as much of an issue obviously nowadays, but it's a cool step from Bushiroad, so I'm very happy that they did it. And I guess I've been asking this to everyone else, but what would you say for like people that want to get into premium now, or like people that have been on the fence about premium, you know, taking that first step? What would be your tip on like, you know, finding resources or like the first things to do for someone getting into premium?
So there's kind of multiple ways you can approach it. So you can kind of look at the revival collection that we just got and look at like, pick a clan, like we'll just use like, I don't know, Pale Moon as an example. I know they got some cards hidden there, but we'll just use an example as generic and look at the cards and be like, okay, what do these cards do and what can I use this to create a deck with? Or if you're a V premium player, you can take your current deck and just kind of upgrade it into a premium deck. Start with like, look at the G zones and stuff like that. I know Solemn has a whole website, by the way. I know it probably needs to be updated now with the bans, but he has a whole like section on his zero damage that literally just says, these are the strides, these are the go-to cards, have a blast. So you can even go in there and just be like, maybe I can start here. Obviously, you know, looking up YouTube videos and stuff like that is good too. But I think just taking like a V premium deck and converting it over to a premium deck and starting from there is the best option, because you already know how the deck plays. Now you're just adding new mechanics. And then you can take those mechanics and then further and further like improve on them and make them deeper. I mean, that's what I did. I took my Kokaitis deck one day and now it's premium. And then I went from there, and that was like right before COVID. And it's not that hard. Like you can literally just not change anything and just add a G zone and just start experimenting. And like you can experiment with what you know, G guards do, what G zones do, what the heck striding is. Like you can just experiment like step by step and then just go from there. And now is like the best time to get into it. I know everyone is saying it, but with Revival Collection, with the ban list, like everyone's on the fresh slate right now. Again, we're all starting over. We're all starting with new playtesting, new everything. It's the perfect time to try premium. And for all the V premium players out there, it's such a fun format. You can take any deck you have and you have so many more options to do with whatever you were already doing. It's great.
I 100% agree. Like it's a lot easier to get into it. And yeah, some people say like when I was opening the clan the revival section packs, I also realized like sometimes like some clans got like 3 stride reprints. I was like, wait, but these are all the strides you ever went into. So it's like quite literally you just have like 2 or 3 strides that you truly actually use, and then some stuff is like text or like options. But you know, that's something that you get into once you're more experienced. Right? When you're first learning the format, you know, take it step by step. You know, learn the mechanics, you know, maybe like play with just 1 stride or 2 at the start that you know your deck could really use well, or like super generic, you know, like for, you know, like the Ghosty for like Grand Blue if you have like a Night Rose V deck, or if you have like, you know, virtually anything. So I think that is definitely a cool option as well.
Yeah, ghosty stuff is really fun too. I've been slowly experimenting with that. We need a little bit more ghosties, but I can't wait to see what potentially could come out in the future. Or Kokaitis. I mean, with the reverse stuff, we don't know what's coming our way. Honestly, this whole format's about to like open up so much. We have so much V cards coming that can just instantly be converted to premium too. So like my mind is like, where do you even start? Like it's a good thing. Like yes, you could just pick up something and just have a blast.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good. This is what it's supposed to feel like, I would say. But yeah, anything you want to close out on? Also, you know, I put up everyone's usernames here, so make sure you check them out. I don't specifically scream about this, but definitely check out everyone that I have on here. We have so many amazing creators in Vanguard that I wish I could, you know, like spotlight as much as possible. So make sure you give everyone love. But anything you want to close out on?
I mean, I just want to say thank you for having me. It was very unexpected. I was literally in the middle of work, and someone was just like,
sorry
hey!
for pulling you out of there.
No, it's okay. I usually take a break like in a half hour from now. I can just take it now and then, you know, go back to work. So it's okay. But I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm also a YouTuber. As some of you guys may know, I do content for Overdress, V Premium, and some Premium. Premium is kind of like my lesser of the 3. But I also love research and stuff like that, like getting new players in, kind of like what you were bringing up earlier about getting people into the format. I'm really big into that because I think that's really hard to sometimes find resources of where to start, and I feel like there's just so much that's open, and it's kind of hard to kind of, you know, drill it down or narrow it down to like kind of like one thing. So I try to kind of give people options like, hey, you can start here, you can start there. I have a Discord where we do a lot of these discussions about like what to get into, what to not, and yeah, that's me. I'm OuterOrange, and that's what I do, and I don't know, I just have fun. I love the game. I love Vanguard. I love being here. I love you guys as the community. So,
I think we can all get behind that for sure. We can definitely all get behind that. So thank you as well for taking time out of your day to come on and talk as well. So yes, really appreciate it. And then, you know, I'm glad it could also feature the other creators and you know, kind of talk about the format. Shame that people like Ty and Eric are still at work, so probably gonna miss them. But it's still great to be able to have you on. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Enjoy your stream. Bye.
Take care. Have a good day. Ciao, ciao.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let's go.
Okay, cool. How's it going?
I mean, I think we're all, like, everyone's just like celebrating and hyped and everything. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Man, it's weird because, like, you know, the streams always happen like when I'm asleep, and so whenever I wake up on Tuesdays, it's always like, dude, all the news hit. But yeah, man, I'm happy with the list, but I'm also just kind of surprised at just like how far they went with it too.
The sheer volume, yeah.
Yeah, there were some hits I wasn't expecting, like the Jamio Congo one. Like
that was definitely on the Japanese side. I could see that was like, because in Japan that deck is popular, right? Same with Chaos, right?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So it's like, I think that's like also the, you know, it's kind of also nice because it shows that it's not just the West that dictates what gets banned, but also things that are like seen as problems in Japan will also get hit.
Yeah, which is great. Which, I mean, just them like just listening to the Western side at all. I mean, they've been doing that a lot this year, which, I mean, and the more they keep doing it, I'm surprised, but I really shouldn't be. But I'm just always so happy about it, just to be like part of the consideration, you know, for so long. I think maybe even you tweeted about it earlier, about how like for so long we're just kind of like afterthought.
yeah, exactly. Like honestly, like until maybe super late G or like early V, like it felt like the West barely even existed, you know, when it came to Vanguards, like, you know, what determines what'll get hit or what'll happen. So man, I think it's definitely a very, very good feel.
Yeah. But the format is just like so wide open now too.
Yeah.
Like where to start with everything, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully, most of my decks are like left touched.
Same.
But yeah, like some of them I'll have to like rework. But I mean, the vast majority are fine. Just because I didn't really dabble in too much degeneracy.
Yeah. For me too, it's like the nice thing of being a filthy casual is that you don't get hit by the ban list that much. The only thing for me is like I picked up Zinks, and that's literally it. Just my Zinks got deleted, but that's fine.
Oh yeah.
But you know,
yeah, I feel so bad for people that picked up Tempest Spheres because I did not see the Tempest Sphere hit coming.
But I really like it.
That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think they would touch that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining. I'm glad I bought mine like upon release last year when they were only like $5.
Yeah, like $2 or $3. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. But like Tony was talking about this earlier. He was saying how like from a game design perspective, it's cool because like, you know, GB effects were designed, or like, you know, GB2, GB3 was designed to be used in later stages of the game once there's like enough resources, when there's like already a lot of gameplay happening. And, you know, cards like Tempest Sphere and Zazan enabled those effects to be used from like, you know, turn 2, 3 onwards, right? Or like, you know, first stride, you know, GB2, 3, etc. So it's like being able, like, just from a game design perspective, like slowing it down to that level, I think is so nice because it finally makes Premium feel more like, you know, more like the actual, you know, format with strides and not the format with like the crazy OTKs, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is like a super welcome addition.
And all that.
Oh, sorry, you broke up there a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I was like, yeah, like maybe we can, like, this just slows the format down so much. Maybe we can have like setup turns again rather than just like
can you imagine
things going for the kill all the time?
Yeah, like it's actually hard to imagine that we can actually have that again. Just like, you know, your first stride that lets you farm, and then the second stride that you try to actually go for game with. Like, damn, 2021 feeling a lot better all of a sudden.
And then, you know, oh yeah. I'm really curious to see like the way the meta is just gonna shape up, because like what's gonna all of a sudden just like creep up and be like, oh wow, okay, now this is an issue. But I mean that's thinking farther ahead in a bit of a damper on the good news right now. But but that's part of the fun too, is like what's going to be viable now, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be, I think it opens up the floodgates like crazy for potential decks that could be at the top.
Definitely.
So I can't wait to see, you know, like when BRO rolls around, that's going to be super exciting to see like what people have been testing in the, you know, they're going to be bringing out their secret techs, you know, after months of testing and see what the new meta is going to be, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, I was just playing like with some friends this past weekend at locals, and I was playing Luard against Premium Sweep Command.
Oh my god!
And I actually lost more than I won in that matchup. So I'm like, is Steve the new meta? Let's see.
Oh my god, this is it. It's the Steve meta after all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Steve
insane.
meta, yes sir.
Oh my god. Yeah, like it's honestly like I'm excited to see how it's gonna go. And also a lot of people now want to get into premium, and you know, with like revival selection coming out, there's like no better time. And I've been asking this to everyone else, but like, what would you say to people that want to get into premium now, or like who are on the fence in the past, like, you know, what their first steps should be, you know, on like even learning what the format's about, or like getting their resources, or like how they should like get into the game, or like get into this format?
For me, my advice has always been just like, especially it's easier if you play V, because if you play V, then you probably already have a clan you like, you probably already have a deck you like, and then just kind of just pick up some strides for that clan and just play it. You know, you'll figure out what, like, don't try and go too hard, just try and have fun at first. You know, you're like, because you got to learn everything, but yeah, just try and have fun at first, and especially like you said with like revival selection just coming. Like a lot of those packs for rival selection, it really feels like, hey, just slap these into your V deck, and then you have like a solid starting point. It may not be like, you know, meta viable, but it's going to be at least playable. And that's all I think you really need when you first start off, is just have something playable. Although ideally you want to have like a person you play with to be doing the same thing and not just playing like, you know, meta decks against you. But if they're trying to get you into the format, I feel like they're probably just going to have that as a given.
They'll take their tier 2
anyways.
Deck probably,
but with Overdress, but with like Overdress, it's a little bit trickier. For that, I would just kind of like, you know, just because there's like certain aesthetics that like Overdress units kind of like call back to, like Bruce and Spike Brothers being like the big one. And I guess just kind of like, just, you know, check out the clans, like especially if you're like an Overdress only player, like just check out the clans and find something that appeals to you, and then just like, you know, pick up what you can, like especially like not only like Revival section just dropped, but we also got V collection, clan collection coming out in like November, and that's going to have a bunch of new units and also a bunch of reprints, and so that's just going to be a really great way to get into it too, you know. I think it's just the best time to do it.
It's a nice way to tumble in.
Everything is just wide open now. You know?
Like if you're like an Overdress only player, you can look at the clan collections, maybe build a V deck, and then once you play with a V deck, just like pick up a G zone for it from Revival Selection, slap it onto that V deck, and you know, there you go. It's like a little step-by-step kind of process of just getting into all the formats.
You got your stepping stone builds like essentially completely laid out for you, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's definitely not that spooky, and there's plenty of resources online.
No, definitely not.
For the people that want to get into it.
More.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit intimidating with years worth of cards, but it's not that scary.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna hold you for too long. Thank you for coming through, even during your break, your work break. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it worked out just in the nick of time, I think. So.
Oh my god, perfect. All right, man, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks again. Take it easy.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. It was great.
Make sure everyone check out Tyfyghtr as well. Hop on Bye stream. You're streaming today, right?
Yep, yeah, I stream like about 5 hours or so, ideally, if things go according to plan.
So you guys can go check out his stream later. I'm sure it's going to be a big talking point, so make sure to give him all the love as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it big time.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All the best. Take it easy, man.
See you, man.
Ciao. All right. How do you feel now that you got to take a look at it? I guess you didn't get to see like the huge like community reaction, because everyone was just like going crazy because it came in layers. Like they showed one image at a time. So so they first like it started with Moripi going like, we're gonna be banning 11 cards, and I was like, 11?
Oh damn! I didn't even realize he said that because I wasn't aware.
Yeah. So it's like those little things that it was like, God, everyone just went crazy. Like it was so emotional. But yeah, how do you feel about it? Because obviously like they took care of like the big six, but also they took care of like the layer below that, and then also like game design issues almost in a way, which like Tony brought up.
For me, it was basically, you're gonna probably see it when I upload the video later today. Like my thoughts were like, wait, what's going on here? Why are they banning these cards? What are these cards doing? I don't know about these cards. And then suddenly they hit with the Zarzan ban. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then ended off with the Gastille one. Like
it's so good.
I'm honestly very happy with this list. Like, there are a couple of things that I'm unaware or not familiar with. Like, I'm not too knowledgeable about why Vina and Putpuri was a problematic combination.
Oh, that's an infinite loop. That's
why. Infinite loop?
Yeah, it's an infinite.
Oh, I wasn't aware that was.
Yeah, so they just shot the infinite.
Okay, then that is great. Like the same with Dentarian. Like it basically having 62k base power problematic that's problematic.
Yep.
All the high end decks. Like when it came in, when the first slide that I saw with the Ultima being restricted with the overtrigger, I was like, okay, if they're restricting this, does this they're gonna slow down the format so much that this would have been a problem? And then I'm see the rest of the hits, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. They should have hit that as well, because otherwise it is going to be an issue. So,
exactly, yeah.
Like I am now very excited to actually try premium, because there are so many unknown things right now with
it's the Wild West.
Like the only thing that I'm confused about is the chaos hit. Like that card really needed? Was chaos really that problematic?
So basically, like, this ban list is kind of like the union of the big problems that come from the Western side and the big problems that come from the JP side. And like most of the things that we have a problem with, Japan doesn't really have a problem with. So, but the things that they have a problem with is Jamyo, which they've been wanting gone for ages. Chaos has been topping a lot in Japan because they don't play the stuff that we find degen. And Tamba is like the Murakumo Infinite Loop that like tops in Japan but doesn't really top in the West. So Chaos was like topping quite a lot actually in Japan this last month or two. So a lot of people wanted it to get some kind of restriction. So I mean Zinc is the biggest like resource engine that the decks ever, the whole clan has. So I think, you know, it does make sense why it got hit. But man, it's definitely very cool to see, you know, and they just like straight up putting the hammer down on a lot of these cards. And especially like the stand trigger ruling they made, I think is like the best, because so many people tried to like word the stand trigger ruling in a way where it's like, you know, it doesn't restand the Vision token, doesn't restand Valkyrion, but this way you can still play those decks and they can still drive check once and that's it.
That's what I really like about this type of restriction, because it allows those decks still to be playable and strong without being degenerate. So you don't just shove them to the side and may say to the players, well, you cannot play your deck anymore because it's now worthless. It's still playable.
You can still play them,
and can still potentially win games, but you now need to play or build your deck a little bit differently to make room for this new restriction.
Maybe you should play crits and heals in your Blade Masters now. Maybe you should play normal triggers now. So it's so good. It's so good to see.
Like, the only thing that I'm like, could this potentially be a problem later on? I saw this sneak peek in some conversation, but I wasn't aware, like, to what degree, is potentially Ezel with Gold Pennant, because all the Superior Right engines got hit, except for Ezel, right? It's probably the only one that's still somewhat consistent.
Yeah, I guess if we're saying consistent, like, there's also Granblue that has one, and technically, like, Tachikaze has, like, a really bad one, but it kind of exists. And I think also, like, Revere still has the Grade 2, I think, that enables them, but it's just not as, like, crazy as the Twa one. So, like, they still exist, so I think they don't want to completely get rid of that kind of, like, ride-up mechanic, but I guess if they deem it fair, it's fine. That seems to be the kind of the call they're making here.
I mean, that makes sense. And to be honest, if we're gonna be very honest, Ezel has been relatively underrepresented for a while because of the new Big Five that came up in the current format for Premium. So maybe they assume that Ezel isn't going to be as strong. And who knows, maybe it does become very strong, but then we have the ban list in January where they can say, you know what, we're gonna deal with it now. Because what I like about this list, they showed to us right now, they don't fuck around anymore, and if they see a problem, they're willing to just smack it down. Like, we're gonna deal with it and it's gonna be gone. So yeah, I am very, very excited for what Premium, and not even Premium, to honestly what they can do for other formats as well. If they're willing to go this far for Premium, how far are they willing to go for Standard and V Series if they're gonna have some issues with the formats? Yeah,
because it goes to show they really care. And also, like, seeing the fact that, like, for example, they had to errata in Japanese the Nectar of Sensationalism the other day, which, like, that problem came up like 2 days ago where one Japanese player was like, wait, the way this is worded, doesn't that mean that I give something 3 crits when I have 15 cards in my drop? And then there was like a huge debate in the Japanese community. Literally 2 days after that original tweet, they were like, okay, errata, and that's it. Like, it really goes to show, like, that they don't care.
I wasn't even aware about that was that speed. I saw the errata and I was like, okay, where does this came from? Like,
it was literally 2 days, like literally 2 days.
Okay,
So
that makes a lot of sense.
It goes to show they're super on the ball now, and that's really cool to see from Bushiroad's side too. So I'm very hopeful going forward that like they're not gonna wait around and like ignore problems going forward. Which like I feel like throughout V series, that's kind of what we had. It's just like problem after problem, and just like, you know, lack of response. Whereas these days it's like feels a complete 180.
Yeah, and besides actually responding, they also, the quality of the response is actually up par from what we want them to be. Because because responding to your community is one thing, saying, yo, we know, but we're not gonna do anything, or, you know, we know that this house is on fire, here's a bucket of water. Like they actually are fixing the issues here, which is great to see, honestly.
Yeah, you love to see it, honestly. Like I'm really glad, and I think, you know, ModiP also tweeted out saying that, like, you know, it's really been a huge part of this is the Western community, and I think like just seeing him talk about that, like honestly for me, like for any older player, it basically felt like until the end of G or like early V, it felt like the West didn't exist basically in Vanguard. Like it was all just like Japan calls the shots and that's it. Whereas nowadays, like for them, like for Dr. O last week to talk about how, like, you know, if you want to find out more about these hits, you should Google these cards in English, you know, or look up what's happening overseas. Like that's something that, like, if you told that to me like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have never believed you. I would have been like, no, what the fuck? Like there's no way that's real.
No, I definitely remember those earlier days where we're all just asking, like, do we even exist? Are we even part of Vanguard? Like, are we even part of the community? Whereas nowadays, it just actually feels that it's a global game, a global company, which is really, really nice to see.
Exactly.
Although I have one other thing that I'm on the restriction list itself I'm confused about, because when I initially saw the choice restriction between the Pale Moon cards, I thought it had to do with the Songster loop. But now that Songster loop itself, the Songster card, is banned, is it just to rein in Harry's power level?
Yeah. Basically, a lot of people felt that like Harry and Grand Blue would be able to like kind of be the next best decks, I guess. So they basically are just putting them under control. And like Derek already had him on earlier, said that there's already replacements for like Periton, and on top of that, like you also have like Nightmare Dolls that you can play now that didn't really care about like Trapezist and Periton as much. So I think that, you know, Pale Moon will still be fine as a clan, but just not that crazy. And Grand Blue lost Dazan, which is like a huge part of it. So I think that's also like such a good thing.
Yeah, they lost their turn to play with Columbard where they can just go nuts.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's a happy time. Like they really managed to look at everything, and I can't wait to see like now the crazy stuff that's going to come up over the next few weeks of people just trying out everything. Like I can finally play DP without feeling I'm going to get randomly blown up, you know, before I get to set up.
I mean, I can now finally make it actually happen. The new age of Time Leap. We got untouched, baby.
But you lost Tempeспhere, which is kind of sad because that did help.
But the funny thing is, I hated playing Tempeспhere in the deck. I hate playing that card so much because it feels I'm so restricted in the cards that I need to put in my deck or how I need to build my deck. Whereas Time Leap itself is such a toolbox deck where you just want to play whatever you want in whatever ratios and whatever gameplay you want to design. But because Tempeспhere is a thing, and because it's for everybody, you're forced to play it because your opponent is probably play it as well. You need to play that early game. You need to be able to combat against them. And then you're forced to play this awkward, bricky card that can come up in late game where you cannot really use it. Or if you don't get Counterblast, you literally have a brick in your hand, which is awful.
Yeah, so, I definitely agree. Like it's nice to finally see this, and now especially with like Revival Selection coming out, you know, it's gonna be so much easier for people to get into the format. Like people that have V decks, just upgrade them. If you're an Overdress player, try out V with Clan Collection, and then if you like the V deck, you can just slap a G Zone in it. You know, like it's crazy. It's actually crazy. Honestly, that's honestly what it feels like. That's literally what it feels like. It's just like Premium quite literally got saved today, and it's like it feels up to par as all the other formats, and it's still gonna like it feels, you know, more akin to what it's supposed to be, you know, as a format.
You know what's funny? Because I'm not aware, I don't know if you keep up to date with Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, but our ban list cycle dates that are now put into place for every year are somewhat similar to the Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's like literally a week after theirs.
Yeah, it's literally a week after. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw their ban list they got
this was trash.
This week. It was so lackluster. And in my back of my mind, I was like, please, let this not be the case for Vanguard. Let our ban list be insane. Like,
thank God.
Like, this is literally the opposite of what happened at Derek game.
Yeah, and it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had like nuclear ban lists before where they just like obliterate a bunch of things, but usually people are mad, right? They're mad and pissed, and they're like, you know, I lost my everything, you know, you killed my favorite decks. But here it's like, it was nuclear for the greater good. Like, it was the good kind of like, you know, fresh reset.
Like, literally the players of the decks themselves said, please kill my deck. Please kill this off.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So I'm really glad. But
I can honestly not wait to actually try Premium at this point, and I think we're gonna definitely see more uptick in Premium, not only in just the casual format, but probably also in the creator sphere, because I've noticed a lot of creators also be very burned out with Premium and not really excited to actually make videos or content about it. Whereas I feel like with this new ban list, because it's such a wild west out there, you can go all directions, and we aren't aware of what's gonna happen for the next few months.
Exactly.
Definitely gonna see a new renaissance in that front as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool, because obviously, like, for me as well, like, sometimes I would want to build something in Premium and I'd look for content, like, find a kind of example deck list for it, and there's just nothing, because, you know, people just weren't be motivated to make content when, you know, you had to play in a meta like this. So I think that is definitely a good thing for us as well, you know, to finally get that kind of boost in motivation to just explore and, like, try crazy shit out. So yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, I guess to close out, I've been asking this to basically everyone, but for the people that are now, you know, maybe want to get into Premium, what's your kind of like tip on, you know, finding resources, or like, you know, the first steps they should take, you know, to kind of like get into the format?
Probably the best tips that I can give is start with V Premium and build a G-Zone on top of the deck to get a taste of what Premium could provide, and to find content out there. There are a couple of awesome channels out there. We all know that Solemn is very focused on Premium, but Tyfyghtr is a newly content creator within the Premium sphere that does awesome videos. And there are definitely some other creators out there. Probably just Google it, just type in
just
YouTube.
Look around,
just look around on YouTube to find your specific clan or Premium deck, and you're definitely going to find not only the bigger creators, but also very small hidden gem creators that probably need more love in our community as well.
Yeah. I definitely agree. All right, man. Thanks so much for coming on right after jumping out of work. I appreciate it big time.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, I think everyone appreciates it too. So yeah, thanks, man. Take it easy as well. You know.
You too, with the what's now almost 6.5 hour live stream, so take a rest.
Yeah. I gotta go edit these videos now. The endless cycle. All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time.
It was fun to have him around. Chat. Be nice to DifferentFight.
Yep. Give him some love as well. You guys know where to go. Vanguard Insider on YouTube. Give him all the love. All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks for coming on. Ciao.
Bye-bye.